Hey everybody, how's it going? Like Butter here, and today I got a division video for you, and I want to go over gear recalibration. This is one of the things that I seem to have left out of my videos when I talk about my builds. I want to show you guys how to make sure that you can get the best gear possible by recalibrating things and figuring out what to recalibrate. So I want to thank you guys for bringing this to my attention, that I haven't been, thorough on this subject, because I want to help you guys as much as possible. And I think recalibration is one of the biggest things in the division to help your gear get to the best of its ability. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have some gear here that I'm actually, probably not going to use. This build here, I've been testing out. I think it's okay. I'll probably switch it up in the next couple of days, so there's no point in me making a build video for it. But I want to show you guys, like, if I were to get a piece of gear in the dark zone, what to do with that gear depending on what your build is. So the first thing you want to pay attention to is what your skills are, what skills fit you the best. Whether you want to run pulse heal, that's what I'm doing first aid heal and pulse. I find pulse being really helpful because you can see where players are, you can see if there's any NPCs in an area, if you are struggling or don't have visual, and it helps you increase your damage as well. So I like running pulse. But if you are running a skill power build, you might be using something else like a sticky bomb or a shock turret or something like that. But it's all going to be dependent on what skills you run and what you're going for. Whether you're going for DPS, tank, you're going tactician, whatever it may be, that's going to depend on what you need for your gear. But I'm going to give you the specifics and the general stats that you want to look for on any build. So here's the recalibration table. It's up here in the second floor of the base of operations. And you have to do, I think, 100% of the tech wing, or one of the tech wings is the recalibration table. Let me see which one it is. Here it is, recalibration down here. You need to have this unlocked in order to unlock the recalibration table to be able to do this. Now, if you have lowish gear, like I'd say anything below 163 gear score, I wouldn't even recalibrate, because what's going to happen is you're going to eventually switch your gear out for higher gear sets and higher items anyways. So if your gear's below 163 or you're running like purples, I wouldn't recalibrate. Don't waste your credits. Save up your credits, sell all the stuff that you don't need or deconstruct it. I think selling it's a little bit better, because I think you get more value out of selling it. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to go into your recalibration table, and it's going to bring up your weapons. This is a new feature. You couldn't do this before, but it's going to show you all of your gear that you have in your inventory. Now, you have to figure out what you need to roll. So, for example, I'm putting together an alpha bridge build, and you got to look at what I'm going to need in my alpha build. So I run, like I said, pulse crit. I got pulse critical hit damage on a lot of my gear because I run pulse. I got first aid self heal because I run first aid, and I like doing DPS. So if I want to do DPS, I'm gonna look at this backpack, this Alpha Bridge backpack, and see what we need to roll. So right here, you're gonna double click it, or hit A or whatever it is on console. And it's going to go through all of your statistics, okay? Now, on the right here, it's going to say possible recalibrations, and it's going to give you a range. Now, this range is going to differ depending on the gear score of your item. So, depending on the level of your item, this recalibration is going to be different. So, let's say if this was a 268 gear score, it would be higher. So, the electronics, firearms, and stamina would go up to like 730-ish or 40-ish or something like that. Alright, the first thing that you want to look for on your backpacks is skill power. Skill power is one of the most important attributes that you can get for your backpack. Now, you want to look here. I have 5,700 skill power. Now, this is extremely low. Okay, so if I had a perfect backpack and I had nothing else to roll, and it was, it was the stamina or firearms that I needed, and everything else was perfect, then this is probably what I would roll. Also, you got to remember that these minor attributes down here sometimes aren't worth spending your roll on, considering you can only recalibrate one thing on each item. You can recalibrate it up to 6 times, but you can only recalibrate one. So, would it be worth for me to roll this to get pulse critical hit damage or pulse duration? I don't think so. I think it's much more important to work on the major attributes first. So, if this was skill haste, let's say, which skill haste isn't a great attribute to have on your backpack, I would re-roll this for skill power, just because that's what I need. However, in this situation, I have electronics. I do not want electronics, okay? I don't run any builds that require me to have any type of electronics. Any of the really good talents like Fierce that you would need electronics for, you want to just have that in the third slot and just let it be that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to roll electronics for either stamina or firearms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what I'm going to use for my build as an overall. So I'm going to build 4 Alpha Bridge, and I'm going to build I'm going to use a Reckless chest piece, and I'm going to use Savage Gloves. So let me look at my Savage Gloves here. So my Savage Gloves are stamina. My Reckless chest piece is firearms. Now, what I like to do when I'm rebuilding something is I like to take all of the mods off. So we're going to take this off. Okay, we're going to take that off. Because that way it gives you true base stats and you can figure out what you need and what you want. Okay, so we're going to take that off. So we're going to put the Alpha Bridge rucksack on now, okay? So we're going to look at the gear and figure out what we're going to need, okay? So I also have to go grab my Alpha Bridge mask. I have an Alpha Bridge mask that's pretty much as good as it's going to get, I'm assuming, which is in my stash. Here it is, Alpha Bridge 268. Very, very good set. A good roll on this, so I think it's going to be pretty good. The Alpha Bridge rucksack looks really cool, too. I like it. Looks like a hunting backpack or something. Okay, so I'm going to put my mask on. Alright, so that's going to give me a kind of a roundabouts of what I'm going to need, right? So this is stamina, this is firearms, this is firearms, and obviously this is what we're going to roll. So you got to think most of the time knee pads are going to be firearms, so we're going to just assume that this is going to be firearms as well. And then obviously the holster is going to give you triple stat now after the update. So we need this to roll for stamina. We need this to be stamina because, like I said, we have a firearms mask. We're probably going to have firearms knee pads, and we have a firearms vest. So we have stamina gloves, which is good, and we're going to need a stamina rucksack. So we're going to recalibrate here. And we're going to go over to here, and you're just going to choose what you want. It already has skill power, that's great. Disrupt resistance, that's fine. I think burn resist is a little bit better. You don't need to worry about the ammo capacity because you should be putting your police backpack on to get that extra ammo anyways. And like I said, these two stats down here don't make a huge difference. It really, really doesn't matter. You want to work on your major attributes first on what you need for your build. So here's the range, like I said, that's going to differ on the gear score of your item. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll these electronics for stamina. Okay, it says in the bottom left how much it costs, 7,800 credits. We have 661,000, so we're good. So let's see what we get. So we rolled for 632 stamina. Not, the best, but not bad. Okay, so there we go. We now have stamina. Now, depending on how low you roll, like say, for example, you roll like 560 stamina, it would be worth rolling it again. Here, in this situation, since I have 632 stamina, and the chances of me getting higher than that, up to 679, are kind of low, I'm not going to spend 110,000 credits on a 240 gear score item, because eventually I'll probably get a 268 in the dark zone, so there's no reason for me to roll it again. However, this will hold me until I get an upgraded item for that. So that's perfect. So that's the start to our Alpha Bridge build. Now we're going to need Alpha Bridge knee pads and an Alpha Bridge holster. But it's looking pretty good so far. The DPS is a bit low because we don't have our talents unlocked. But that can be fixed with, your mods and other stuff. So Not a bad start for the alpha build, alpha bridge. I keep wanting to say alpha build, alpha bridge set. So let's go into something else. Let's see what else we can end up rolling here that I got recently. Let's look at this backpack of the Nomad. So that's going to be a similar situation. Let's not do that. Let's do Striker's pack. We already did that. Let's see if there's anything that I haven't rolled yet. So we rolled that, Lone Star, we don't need to roll that. Striker's knee pads, I pretty much rolled everything. So let's do the backpack, okay? So once again, it's electronics, so I'm going to have to re-roll that. But look at how, like, perfect this is, right? It's got pulse crit hit chance, pulse critical hit damage, which both of those skills fit my build, which is fantastic. Disrupt resistance, which is really, really good. Like I said, burn resistance is also pretty good with, you know, so many reclaimers being out there. Also, the armor, like, sometimes armor isn't necessary on your backpack. Sometimes, like I said, you want that skill power. But in this situation, I really have no choice but to roll the electronics. But you see how the range is higher here? The range is way higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep armor here and sacrifice the skill power. And what I'll do is I'll try to get skill power elsewhere, like in my mods, on my mask. You can get like up to 5k on your mask, something ridiculous like that if you have a 268. So we're going to roll the electronics here, and we are going to hope for either firearms or stamina. We're just going to pick whatever the highest is. Since I'm only doing this for an example anyways, 705 stamina, that's pretty good. So we're going to roll that. Okay, so let me see if there's any other gear that I have in my stash that we can use, just to give you guys even more of an example. I think there was a blind mask here that I was thinking about rolling. Sentry's Call mask. Let's see, Reclaimer braces. I don't really need to roll those. What about the holster of the Nomad? No, this is all pretty much already rolled. Let's do the blind mask. Okay, I think I already rolled this once, but just to show you guys. So what I try to do is I try to get skill power on my backpack, and I try to get skill power on my mask, because skill power is super strong and super helpful. And not only is it going to help you with how much you heal, it's going to help the team out a lot, because your pulse critical, you know, hit damage and hit chance is going to be way higher with higher skill power, and it's going to help your team out to do more damage. And it's, you know, it's going to help the entire team, not just yourself. Whereas, like, you know, crit hit damage is only going to help yourself. So let's go into the mask here. Now, I'm set, like most of you guys know, I posted 2 videos about my blind set. I'm waiting for the blind rifle to come out. The was it the MDR Desert Tech rifle that's going to be coming out for the blind set? I'm waiting for that rifle, so I'm putting a blind set together. Here I already rolled this, okay, but we're going to roll it again, because it has a good amount of firearms, right? That's the first thing you want to look at. It's the most important thing. You know, if it's electronics and you don't need electronics, that's probably going to be the main thing that you're going to roll. Unless, like, if you get a gear piece, right, and it's all terrible stats, don't bother recalibrating. Just don't use it. Wait for a better drop. The rule of thumb is for recalibration is if 4 out of the 5 stats are good, or 3 out of the 5 stats are good, and you need that piece, then you recalibrate something to fit with your build. Okay, so crit hit chance here, I don't think crit hit chance here is super helpful on a blind build. I think that you really need that skill power. So what we're going to do is we're going to just roll this for skill power. We can get anywhere between 46 and 5700 skill power. So we're going to do that, and hopefully we get something good. And we didn't get skill power, which is a bummer. So I'm going to take the crit hit chance again, and each time that you roll, the cost is going to go up. So we're going to roll it one more time. If this doesn't roll well, then I'm just probably going to scrap it. After you roll a couple of times, it becomes a little bit too expensive, and at that point, sometimes you just want to scrap it. Again, we didn't get what we needed, so that sucks, because this is a pretty good mask. It has a lot of firearms. So what I might do is I'm going to check here. I might still be able to use this regardless. Because the blind rifle, even though I want skill power, I'm thinking about it now, the blind rifle is considered an assault rifle, which lacks on crit chance. So I'm going to take that 5% crit chance and try to figure out other ways to get my skill power up. So I'm going to look here and see if where my blind backpack is. I need to find my blind backpack and see if it has skill power on it. Oh, perfect. So both of these blind packs that I have, so in this build, I'm going to have my blind bag on, which is right here. So this already has skill power. The only problem is that's firearms as well, so that might suck. But now if I put this blind mask on, you're going to see that, oh my god, my firearms are through the freaking roof. Okay, we're going to have to do something about that. It might be a problem. I don't know if my blind knee pads are stamina. I'm kind of praying that they are. Oh my god, they're firearms as well. Okay, well, this seems to have spiked a bit of an issue here. So what are we going to do about it? That's firearms. This is going to be firearms now. This is going to be firearms. Oh my god, dude. Glass cannon. Okay, so this spike's a bit of an issue. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out some sort of way that we can roll something for stamina. Okay? We need to fix this. So I can't roll the face mask. I can't roll the knee pads. The knee pads already got rolled. So at this point, like, this build wouldn't work. I would need to do something else. Like, I would need to get stamina on my backpack or something. So what I might need to do here is I might need to grab the other blind backpack that might have stamina on it, and then we'll kind of adjust from there. That's what it's all about. It's all about, like, figuring out what to do. I could also use this blind mask instead of the other one. The only problem with this one is it has 13% blind and deaf resistance, which sucks because you're getting 100% blind and deaf, so it's kind of a waste. But this one here is actually stamina. It's first aid, health. So I think what I would do is I would actually change out my mask. So I would put my mask in. So we'd keep the firearms there. We'd keep the firearms there. And we would just put the stamina mask on instead of that. So we got 2,500 stamina, which is a bit low, right? But we can make up for that with here. Let's see what our health is. Health is low. Armor's a little bit low, so we need some armor mods, which is fine. So we go in, throw an armor mod on. So our toughness is going up. You can see it. It's going up pretty hardcore there. Do we have another there we go, stamina. Okay, so that's probably max. I would say that that's 75%. 75%. We're actually even a little bit over, right? What is it? 53, 54. So we're actually way over. So we probably don't even need that. We could probably figure a different way out to balance that, but regardless, just to show you, so what we're going to put on now is probably skill power. Skill power mods are like the GOAT. I love them. So our skill power is pretty high. You can see that. And then we could put on crit chance. And you can see our toughness is going back up. So that's how you balance a build right there. You see how it's like if I put this one on, it would just be too much firearms. Although what I could try to do is if I wanted to go like a glass cannon build, I could just put on another stamina mod. Like, what would we want? Resource gain, maybe? And I could do that. I could do just pure glass cannon. The only problem with this is that Vicious wouldn't be active. Because we need 25. Wow, we need 5 stamina. Okay, we could actually fix that. Because what we can do is we can take one of these out. One of these mods that have lower, and if we could get 5 stamina. Getting 5 stamina isn't that difficult. Especially on this one, this is 140. So if we went to like this, there we go. We'd have to put this stupid skill haste one on, but yeah, you could always roll new ones, you know. So that would get it active, and then you could go like glass cannon build. But what's our health? 77,000. Yeah, it's way too low. But that's just, I'm just trying to give you guys some examples of like how you kind of recalibrate your gear around what you need. So that's just, and you know, worst comes to worst, I could always go in and just look for more blind gear and figure out what's better and what fits with my build. So hopefully that helped you guys out. Let me just double check to make sure that we didn't miss anything with the recalibration. All right, let me once again go over. You want to look for skill power on your face mask in your backpack. You want your skill attributes to fit whatever skills that you have, but if they don't worry about it, and don't ever have skill increased kill XP. You don't want that on any of your gear, and yeah, you're just basically looking for exotic damage, resilience, armor if you need it. Armor is one of the main stats that you should have on most of your gear. The only reason that I don't have armor on some of my gear now is because since I have a lot of 268 items, they have so much base armor on them that I'm hitting the 75% without actually needing armor and the major attributes. So I hope this video helped you guys out a little bit. If it did, be sure to drop the video a like. Let me know if you have any comments. Leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, just remember, like, if you have all of the stats that you need, look at your stamina, your firearms, or your electronics, and see if you can roll those for higher amounts. And then you kind of have to figure out if it's worth to continually try rolling it. It's kind of like when you're rolling something, you're just kind of gambling, really. That's what it is, except you're not actually putting any money into it except in-game currency, which is great. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.